devo dire che
Hey there, everyone. Welcome to the show tonight. Finally, a show that on the night that I said I was going to start doing them, and at the time I said I was going to start doing them. So we'll see how many of these I can string in a row. But at any rate, hey, everyone, welcome to the show. I've got quite a few people already here in the chat. I've said hello to a few. Jammer's here. What's going on, Jammer? Tonight, I want to talk about, I've been looking at a few things about inflation coming up in 2024. I just did a show with Brian Duff on Mine for Survival 2 with Daisy Luther, and we talked about this a little bit. And I want to talk about sort of the numbers that these people throw out and the actual numbers, the numbers we see in the stores. I posted an article in the private group, the members.survivalistprepper.net group, and got a few comments from people in there that I want to talk about as well. But just a lot of just a lot of things that Jammer said it's like a prepping miracle. Yeah, it is like a prepping miracle. But just a lot of things that have, I mean, it's really bad right now. It's when I go to the store, beef is up 50% than it was just a year and a half or so ago. And it's just continuing to rise, and it's going to continue to rise. So I want to talk about that and some things we can do about that. I was also, I don't want to say suckered into going to the dollar store, but since I have to drive Lisa around and, driving Miss Daisy, we had to go to the dollar store. So I figured while I was there, I would spend $20, see what I could get for $20 and see if it's actually viable, because I have been the guy, not really a naysayer about the dollar store. There's certain things that if you're going to get them for prepping, you need to get the good quality stuff. But I was a little bit surprised at some of the stuff I got from the dollar store. I'm going to go through these right here that I got for $20. And what I want to do is go over how much this would have costed me at a regular grocery store compared to the dollar store. Is it viable? Is it worth it? Expiration dates, all that stuff. So should be interesting and fun to just kind of go through those. Brandon's here. What's going up on prep? Brandon, I'm reading and trying to talk at the same time. It's not working out too well. So also, Robert just put something here on the chat. He said, cash, I believe, is only good to get home. After that, I'm good. And I need to change the colors on this damn thing. I forgot to do that, purple and yellow. But I did put a poll up in the YouTube chat if you want to check that out. And the poll is, and I can't bring it up here, but how much cash, paper money, do you keep on hand? And I'm going to talk about this a little bit later about and this all goes into inflation and all that stuff. So just curious how much, and I'm not sure there is really a right answer because, I mean, there's definitely a too much answer because money loses its value, but it really depends on you, your situation, and, what you're doing and all that. So to start off with, what I'll do is see if I can get these comments so I can see them a little bit better. What I'll do is I want to go through this article that I saw and talk about the numbers that they have in here as far as inflation, what inflation in 2024 could look like, according to the quote unquote experts, what this will look like. And then I want to go through some comments and talk about, sort of dissect this a little bit. But in this, and if anybody on YouTube, Facebook, or wherever, if you guys have comments, let me know. But in this, it says here that the USDA is forecasting that inflation on food products will continue to slow in 2024. So isn't that fantastic? But will most likely still be above historical average. This first paragraph right here says American consumers saw prices rise in the wake of the pandemic a lot. One of the places it was felt most was when they went to the supermarket to buy groceries. That's the numbers you don't hear about when these experts tout their numbers and all that, the numbers that we're actually feeling here at home. So the second paragraph here says, while overall is most likely still above the historical average, because inflation is built into our economy, so it's always going to go up. but this is more than usual. The Department of Agriculture is forecasting that inflation on at-home food products will continue to slow in 2024. And I think it's interesting because they say it's going to continue to slow. And what they talk about here is the current USDA prediction is that food at home prices will increase 1.6% in 2024. 1.6%. I highly doubt that. And with a prediction interval, and I don't know how exactly this is calculated, but an interval of -4% to up to 7.8%. That's a pretty large window to give yourself, if that's what this is, their variation window. That's a pretty large window to give yourself. 8 percentage points difference. 8 percentage points is a lot of damn money. And what they say is that's less than half of the previous year, with grocery stores, supermarket food purchases forecast to be 5.2% more expensive than 2023. So what they're projecting, and this is all around food, 5.2%. This takes into account that your beef is probably going to go up 15, 20%. And then the eggs are going to go down, like in this chart right here. They talk about how meat is projected to go up 5.6%, poultry up 3%. Eggs are going to go down 14.7% because eggs just skyrocketed in the last year anyway. So they can't go up any higher than they already have. So they got to go down. Dairy products, same sort of situation where it just has to go down. Fruit and vegetables, these two are pretty interesting. Fruit and vegetables, the fresh stuff, is only projected to rise 0.4%. Whereas the processed fruit and vegetables, and that is basically prepper food, the canned goods, all of that stuff, 4.7%. So you've got meat, you've got processed fruits and vegetables, cereals and bakery products. I don't know that I agree with, and I'll go into that in a minute, but it's up 0.5% is what their projection is. I think it's probably because of the things going on in Ukraine and the grain and the drought conditions in some places. I think the grain products are probably going to go up as well. But this is their forecast. I'm not so sure how much I buy into this forecast. And I know there's a lot of different variables that go into it year over year. But the thing to me is that over the last 3 years, and it maybe it just goes up a little bit. Maybe it exactly is what their projections are. Over the last 3 years, if you add all 3 years up together, it's 20% inflation prices have gone up, and more than that on some stuff. Hamburger, I used to buy out here in Colorado for, $10, $11, somewhere like that. Now it's 15, 16 bucks. So you're looking at like 38, 40% inflation on meat, on beef. And it's the same. Pork is one of those that sort of, I don't know why, but it hasn't really been affected like beef has, like poultry has, beef especially. And you think about the how they want to just basically make us eat bugs and all that stuff. They don't mind the fact that beef is going up so high in price. Robert said here in the chat, he said, I really got to change these colors. If you can buy beef locally or in bulk, a quarter or half a cow, and you can, what we locked in was $8.99 a pound. Yeah. And I think I need to see if I can change the colors on that damn thing. That's going to drive me absolutely crazy. But I'll do that later. I'm not going to do that now. I think that's a fantastic idea. And in this, in the group, when I posted this, we had a few comments, and one sort of along those same lines. I think it was the Prepared Granny. Let me see if I can find it here. She said, trust the experts. Trust them to lie. Prices rarely go down. And she said, we buy half a cow at a time. I learned to can meat last year just to be able to save. A lot of power goes out long term. I'm not eating bugs without a fight. And Kanzi said, product granny, put up your dukes. But it's absolutely true. Yeah, that's what we need to do as far as the thing we can do to fight inflation as much as possible anyway as preppers is our food storage. That is sort of an investment, and it's not an investment that, is going to rise and fall like your typical gold and silver stocks and bonds, commodities, things like that. It's more of an investment that you're going to use, but by the time you use it, it's money that you're going to spend anyway. So why not spend it when it's $10 rather than when it's $15? And then when it's $15, why not $15 rather than $20? So it just saves us a lot of money. And if the amount that we put into our food storage, it just makes sense to try to, save as much as possible if we can. A lot of people in the world couldn't give two craps about it. I mean, they go to the store, they buy their food, and they don't really even pay attention to what individually is going on. But it really adds up. And when I do this dollar store stuff, I'll show you how it really does add up. And if you're not paying attention to it, that's what it's like I used to be able to go to Walmart, spend $50 and get a couple bags worth of groceries. These days you can't go to Walmart without spending $100 bill. I rarely get out of Walmart. Even if I'm going for one thing, I end up getting 3 or 4 things. I rarely get out of there for less than $50. And it's just crazy. So at any rate, I want to go through a couple of these comments on this as well and get back over to this because they were pretty good. The first one here, Mara said, I think it's interesting that they predict fresh fruits and vegetables will rise 0.4%, but processed fruits and vegetables will rise 4.7%. I think I'd rather preserve myself. Canning is one of the skills I'm working on getting better at and hope to get a freeze dryer next year. And I agree with you that grains and rice are going to get higher. Yeah, rice is another one of those things that I think there's things going on in India. There's a lot of things going on that could boost up the price of rice. That's not really a huge deal to me because I mean, I've got a lot of rice, but I don't buy, hundreds and hundreds of pounds of rice where it's going to make a big difference. But the grains go in everything. When you talk about box meals, you talked about cereals, you talked about baked goods. I've got an article from Ask a Prepper that goes through some of the things that are going to rise that I want to go through. And they talk about a lot of the baked goods and things like that. So it's just the grains. I don't see how in that little report they had where they don't see that rising higher, because all you heard last year was how Russia, the Putin's war, what they call it, is causing such problems with the grain market. You would think that it would rise a whole lot more than that. I've seen a couple stories, and I'll have to do a little bit more research on this, where some of the wheat fields in Ukraine are actually affected by not nuclear fallout, but nuclear chemicals or something from the explosion out there, the ammunition depot or something. So they're not able to produce the wheat that they normally would. How does that affect everything? I mean, I don't know. There's so many moving parts to this that it's just hard to say. Also in this, Scott had made a really good comment too about how it depends on the oil cost and weather for grains. Yes, so you've got the drought conditions and all that. Candy said, very good point, Scott. Everything we do with food has a gas stamp on it attached to it. From the growing process, harvesting, short to long-term storage, transportation and warehouse distribution, employment, all blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to read everything he says, but yes, everything. There's all these other things that are involved with this as far as the fuel cost and the other supplies that they need that all weigh into this as well. And when you think about the fuel cost, I mean, who knows? You've got so many people manipulating the prices of fuel and all that, who knows what time of year. Like right now, it's getting ready to be, it's forecast to be below $2 a gallon out here in Colorado. We'll see if that happens. Right now, it's a little bit above that. Going into election season, I think that's sort of convenient. Actually, it's not election season yet, but we'll see how long this lasts. But it's just hard to tell from one point to the other. So we just got to. But that plays a huge factor in all of this as well, the fuel costs and all that. Let me look at. Got any comments here? See where we're going. But a lot of good comments. Mark, hey, Mark's in the chat. I'm not showing your. Oh, here we are. What's going on, Mark? The more food you can produce at home, the less vulnerable you are to inflation. Absolutely. And that's that's what we should all be thriving for. Hey, Mark, I had Mark on. That's Mark from the author of Enemy at the Helm. Had him on a couple weeks ago. But the more we can do for ourselves, the more we can put into stores, the more we can grow. The less dependent we're going to be on what those prices are and the availability on the shelves and all of that. That's why this is so important. You can't fight inflation because, like I said, it's built into the machine. Not as much. It's not supposed to be as much as it is right now, but it is built into the machine. Jammer had posted something which I thought was pretty interesting, and I actually saw this on the news as well, talking about the movie Home Alone, which I believe was made in the 1990s. And this little meme right here says that if Kevin McCallister's grocery list in Home Alone cost him $19.83. Last year, the same grocery list would have cost him $44.44 or 40 cents. This year, it would cost a whopping $72.28. And that's how, and we talk about this all the time. You look back to how much, when bread was a quarter a loaf and all of those things. It's absolutely insane that it's just sort of accepted. And that goes to what Kanzi was talking about earlier with, it's that frog in a boiling pot of water. We get used to this. So we're going to get used to these prices of $3.50 or whatever it is for a pound of ground beef, $3.50, $4. We'll get used to these prices. And then once we sort of get used to these prices, all of a sudden it'll be a little bit more inflation, and pretty soon, and you've got shrinkflation as well, where they decrease the size. You can't really do that with a pound of meat, but you got cereals and chips and things like that where they decrease the size, but they can keep the dollar amount the same. So you really don't, unless you're paying attention to it, you really don't notice it. So at any rate, what I want to do is I want to go through this article, just a couple of these from this article from Ask a Prepper, and then I'll get into my dollar store stuff here. But let me see where we're at as far as time. Okay, we got plenty of time. But this article from Ask a Prepper, I saw this the other day, and this is the article that got me thinking about all of this, is 10 food items that will skyrocket in price in 2024. And I saw a few on here, and this is what made me want to do a little bit more research on what the numbers are and all that. It got me thinking about what some of these things are. And most, like the numbers I shared in the very beginning, most predictions center around that. I don't know if somebody got their talking point and everybody's just puppeting that afterwards, but this article talks about things that are going to skyrocket in prices. Says pay attention to the prices of things in the stores. Always seems like food goes up faster than most things, and it does. That's why when they talk about the inflation and all that, it's a bunch of BS, because I don't care how much the cost of a refrigerator went up. I don't care what the cost of a piece of plywood went up, whatever. I care about food. That's the main thing that you're going to spend a lot of your money on from month to month, and that's what I care about. At any rate, he talks about how the problem started or got worse during the COVID pandemic, and then after that, you get the inflation and all of the things that are just sort of piling on top of each other. But everything is slowing down now. If you listen to the White House talking heads, she talks about how this is typical businessman, politician talking right here, just trying to, put some lipstick on the pig.
Prices are down for eggs, milk, toys, and TVs. Gas prices are down by $1.90 from the peak after Putin's war began, and wages are rising and higher than before the pandemic.
So I love how they say Putin's war too. That's like drill it in their heads. This is Putin's fault. This is Putin's fault. This is Putin's fault. We have to send all this money to Ukraine. Anyway, so what she talks about is the eggs and milk, which are just bound to drop because they were so high. So take that low-hanging fruit, right? We got eggs and milk and toys and TVs. Who cares about toys and TVs? I don't. Gas prices are down. That really has nothing, in my opinion, nothing to do with inflation. That's all artificial. That depends on who's pulling the strings, from the gas companies to the politicians to all of that stuff. That has nothing to do with inflation, in my opinion. But this is the typical talking point. So in this article, they go over, oops, wrong one right here. Let me put this on this one. Talk about some of the things that you could see rising in price and why. And the first one, this is sort of this is a gimme right here, but meat, especially beef. Beef and veal have been going up by an extraordinary amount in the last couple of years. And unfortunately, there seems to be no foreseeable end to its upward trend. Like I said, I've steaks I get is up 50%, ground beef up 40%. I mean, they're astronomical numbers when you hear these talking heads talk about how inflation is going down. Inflation's only 6% and blah blah blah. It's a bunch of BS. So they say in here there are a number of things contributing to this, including the ever increasing cost of raising cattle. Again, that's what Mackenzie was talking about earlier. All the things that go into getting that package of beef on the shelf and then in your freezer. The cost of shipping also plays a pivotal role in the overall price. The temporary reduction in prices we're seeing at the gas pump they're just for the elections. As soon as they're over, prices will rise again, causing everything else to rise. Very well could be. I don't know if that is. Like I said, it's going to have to stay this way for a while, and then we'll see how that goes. But he continues here. In addition to the raising and processing costs of beef, it seems that those who support AOC's Green New Deal have decided that cow farts are a major cause of greenhouse gases. Yes, there's definitely a war on beef. You see the things that they're doing in the Netherlands and all that stuff. There's definitely a war on beef. And it's not, I see it sort of like, I don't know if this is a good comparison or not, but sort of like cigarettes, right? Where they don't mind how much it costs for a pack of cigarettes. And I don't smoke. I don't even know what they cost anymore, but they don't care what it costs for a pack of cigarettes because they don't want people to smoke anyway. It costs as far as medical conditions and all that stuff. It's just something they don't want people to do. So if they don't want people to eat meat, let the prices go up. They could care less, I think, as far as what the prices are for beef are. And that goes back to what a couple people were saying. I can't remember who was saying it now. I think it was Robert talking about buying locally. Get that stuff locally. Get a big enough freezer where you can actually store that stuff and put it in your freezer. And that way you've got that little buffer to get through. Okay, so I was trying to read some comments there, but I'll hold off on that. The next one they've got here is poultry. And this one is another one where I've seen some things about the avian flu thing going on and how they had to kill millions of birds. I don't know. I haven't seen much else. And I've actually looked into this to try to find something to see if this is something that just got blown up by a couple of people I watch videos from or something that's a real deal. I haven't seen anything that makes me alarmed about the avian flu. I know they had to kill millions of chickens or something, but I don't know that was a big enough number to have an impact. So we'll see. If anybody else is, post a link or send me an email or something if anybody else has any more information on that. But poultry here, it says one of the hardest hit areas of farming during the pandemic was the poultry industry. While chickens grow rapidly, making it possible to rebuild flocks fairly quickly, the huge number of chickens which were euthanized during COVID made rebuilding those flocks challenging. With beef prices rising, people are turning to poultry, especially chicken, as their main protein source. I've been buying a lot more chicken because of how expensive beef is recently. It's almost 2 to 1 now. Chicken has always been popular around the world, but the additional demand is driving prices up. Following the laws of supply and demand, we can expect chicken prices to continue increasing disproportionately as people look for an alternative to beef. I can totally see that. Not so much that the chicken's dying and all that, but because the prices of beef going up is going to cause the prices of poultry to go up because of, like they said in the article, supply and demand. So we could see that go up as well. That's something when I go to the store and I'm looking at meat, I'm mainly paying attention to the beef prices. That's what every time I go, I look at what the price of 3 pounds of hamburger is now. I look at, I like New York strips. I look at those are $20 for 2 of them these days. They used to be like $14. So just in the last couple of years, those have gone up $6 for the pack of 2. I can't remember how many pounds that is, but a little $2 pack has gone up to $20. So $20 for Lisa and I to have a steak, or I can spend $20 on chicken and get 4 or 5 meals worth of chicken. I mean, it's sort of a no-brainer. So not that I'm giving up on beef and steak and all that, but I do we do things differently basically these days. Jammer says here, what I find amazing is the amount of people that are in the fast food drive-thrus. Most meals are $10 meals now. Much longer. How much longer do we have? How much longer can we do this? Sorry, it's hard to read without my glasses on. That's true, yeah. And I don't go to fast food places much, but we went the other day. Like I said, I've been driving Miss Lisa around, and we just stopped. You said, screw it, we're going to stop by a fast food joint. I think we went to McDonald's or something. Back just a few years ago, it's like half the price it is now. I think we paid over $20 for just two of us to get food. It's absolutely, it's just ridiculous. And the other part of that is wages and living expenses. The cost of living, your wages aren't going up with that. So it's not like we're seeing a nice, it's not an even increase as far as how much money we're making and the cost of living. So makes it really tough. Once again, in the poll here, I wanted to talk about how much paper do you keep on hand? Looking at, we got 11 votes so far. I'm going to let this go a little bit further, but so we'll get back on this article real quick. They talked about poultry. Now they're talking about seafood, which we don't do a whole lot of seafood. We've got we do some shrimp every once in a while. We do fish, usually salmon. Sometimes we use I can't remember what the mahi, ahi, whatever it's called. We eat that sometimes as well. But seafood, especially shellfish of all types, have always been expensive, but it looks like the prices are going to go up from now on. And this also depends on your geographic location. Out here in Colorado, it's much more expensive than it would be, say, in San Francisco or on the East Coast or something like that. And it says here, and this is sort of self-explanatory as well, the overfishing and all that. But while it might seem that the vastness of the ocean would give us nearly an unlimited supply of these tasty creatures, the fact is only a small part of the world oceans can be effectively harvested. While I wouldn't raise the alarm for them being overharvested just yet, the availability is affecting prices. And you've also, regulations and things like that play into the seafood factor as well. So that's one of those I just don't know. But again, that's one that wouldn't affect me as much and wouldn't affect most people as much as the beef, the poultry, the pork, all of those things that we get quite a bit of wouldn't affect you that much. Now, the next one he goes into here, and he talks about flour, and below this he talks about some of the other products that, because of flour, the baked goods, but these projections that the mainstream media is putting out, I'd have to do a little bit more research, but they don't take this into account, I suppose, as much as I do. But we're approaching the 2-year mile marker on the war in Ukraine, and neither side seems to be giving up. I think it's closer to an end than they do in this article, but the Ukrainians are holding on tenaciously, which I applaud them for. It's their land; they should fight for it. I don't know so much about that anymore. I also think Putin has grabbed just about as much of Ukraine as he wants at this point. Anyway, totally different show. But on the other hand, Putin doesn't seem to be giving up and going home, probably for domestic political reasons. Ukraine has become one of the world's major wheat suppliers, which something that the war has largely interrupted, which has created shortages worldwide, driving food prices for wheat up. Here at home, we haven't felt the crunch in this particular shortage because we grow all of our own wheat, but the world supplies, maybe that's part of the reason we are using more of our own than we have before. But the world supplies are becoming more scarce. More and more of our wheat is being shipped overseas, which is driving up domestic prices. And in this article, they talk about breakfast cereals for sort of the same reason, baked goods. You've got anything basically with wheat in it or grain in it. Milk, they talk about going up here. And this is one of those I just don't know. And another one that I just don't know that it has that big of an effect. Yes, it sucks. You go to buy a gallon of milk and all of a sudden it's $4. It's not here yet, but if it's all of a sudden $4, going to be like, gee, my knees, man. But it's not something that and if you got kids, maybe it is, but we don't have kids. We buy maybe a half a gallon every 2-3 weeks. And the only reason we buy another one is because the first one has gone bad. But here it says milk is actually an international commodity, just like wheat. Lower exports of milk driven by lower international demand are causing more domestic milk production to be kept stateside. Milk has to meet higher standards, driving up the overall cost of the industry. Milk is a highly perishable item. It can't be saved easily for consumption later. So it's, like I just said, it's something that the only reason we buy it twice a month is because it goes bad before then. Milk and eggs, though, and he talks about butter and margarine and cheese in this as well, all byproducts of the milk thing, sort of like the grain and the wheat. We'll see about that. I mean, I'm just not so sure that that is going to affect me as much. Although I do love cheese, man, I love cheese. So yes, that would affect me, but sorry, I'm reading comments here. I jumped into the middle of a conversation, but Jammer said here, Tina, watch how they classify pounds, hanging weight or packaged weight. That's that's something I had never actually thought about. There's always ways they can manipulate all this crap and figure out what is the best way to give the perception that everything is just fine, nothing has changed, and still increase the bottom line and make a profit. And I can't really blame companies for, trying to make a profit, unless it's like the oil companies where they just completely manipulate and price gouge and all that stuff. But companies have to make money as well. So it's the fact that when everything just starts to get just completely haywire, that's what I don't like. Brandon said here in the chat, here's a perfect example of how people think too. This thing doesn't affect me, but this thing I like and need is expensive. Therefore, the economy is a disaster. Yeah. I don't know that the economy is a quote unquote disaster, but the inflation, I think, is a disaster. As far as the things that affect me, the things that affect prepping, the things that affect our food storage and all of that stuff, I think it's painful going to the store these days, and it's nuts. So, okay, so that's basically it on that article right there. Again, it's just they talk about fruits and vegetables. Let me pull this up one more time. They talk about fruits and vegetables, which in the literal projections, they talk about it might not go up that much other than the processed fruits and vegetables, which is basically prepper food, right? The canned foods and things like that. But the drought conditions, all of that play a role in the fruits and vegetables as well. We buy, this is something that does affect me, does affect, a lot of people all over the place, because you do buy the fresh fruits and vegetables, especially when it's not harvest time or anything. But for preppers, it's mainly those preserved foods, right? The canned goods, the frozen vegetables, things like that we're stockpiling, we're putting away to build up our food storage. And those are the things that are going to be affected this year. So not necessarily going out and buying a head of lettuce, but if you get if you get the canned foods, if you get the prepackaged salads that are already done for you, those things are going to be more expensive these days. So let me look one more time at the chat. And then what I'm going to do is I want to go through this dollar store stuff that I got here. Oh, and I forgot to, before this show, I saw something hilarious, and this really has nothing to do with anything. But I got to play here. Right before I got on the show and I was putting things together, and I saw a local prepper posted something on Twitter, and this is just hilarious, so I had to play it. This is why you always listen to cops, right? Watch this. Absolutely hilarious. I had to watch this like 3 or 4 times. I might watch it 3 or 4 times now, but thought this was fake at first. I was like, no way, but it's not. Dude gets out of his van, running. For those of you listening to this show later on, gets out of his van, running from a cop, wearing a Burger King crown, drinking a beer, wearing his boxer shorts, which looks like either a jock strap or suspenders. I swear to God, when I saw this, I was like, no way, this is BS. This cannot be real. But it's sure, the cop really shot him with a taser. Now, maybe the cop is in on this as well. But, I mean, it sure looks real to me. I got to watch it one more time, and then I'll stop. He gets a 10 for the landing. That was spot on right there. All right. At any rate, Jammer said, I think I know that guy. Yeah. All right. One thing Brandon also said before we move on to the dollar store stuff is Brandon said, I can't disagree with the pain. I'm feeding 5 mouths. Thankfully, I travel a bit and my per diem covers covers me most of the time. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing we can do about it other than trying to take advantage of things while they're still at the price they're at now before they go up, and just pay attention to, I think another thing is paying attention to deals, paying attention to what you're paying for. And I'm going to go through that with this dollar store stuff too, is paying attention to what you're getting, how much you're getting, maybe making those sacrifices. Instead of eating this, can I eat that? Like I said, with the beef, making, instead of having, beef or steak 2 times a week, a month, or whatever you do, maybe you cut that in half and you have chicken or pork or something else, and learn different recipes. I've cooked a lot of different things with pork recently just because it is a lower cost, and chicken there's only so many things you can do with chicken. As awesome as it is, it gets kind of old after a while. So at any rate, what I want to do is I want to go over what I got, what I did with this dollar store stuff. And like I said in the beginning, Lisa and I, with me having to take her around because her arm is in a sling, and she's actually out of the sling now. So she's almost back to being a functioning human being. She can actually drive now. But I took her to the doctor the other day, and we went to the dollar store. She wanted to go to the dollar store to do some craft stuff. And I figured, what the heck, while I'm there, I'm going to try to spend $20 and see what I can get for $20 and see how that stacks up, see if it's actually something that's viable, and see how that stacks up as far as if I were to pay for this stuff on Amazon, at Walmart, and see what the price difference would be. Surprisingly, because I've been somewhat of historically, I've been sort of a dollar store snob. If there's other options, I'm going that route. I'm not going to go to the dollar store on a weekly basis just to stock up on food. But I do think, and as you'll see as I go through this stuff, I do think it is viable. And if you live right next to a dollar store, I mean, why not? But with this, what I got is I want to go through some of these things that I got here. Let me move my mic over so you can hear me. And then I've got this all charted out as far as price as well. But I went there and they actually had some pretty cool stuff. They had these MRE things, which I haven't tried yet. And I mainly got these. These are protein drinks. I mainly got these just to see how they are. But those were pretty cool. There's a lot of different kinds of protein drinks. These are usually between I looked at these online, and these are usually like $4. So those were a pretty good deal. These beef jerky, this is like 0.5 of an ounce, which the reason I got these is because I think these would be good. Say if, like a bug out bag, just a little snack. It's nothing that's, it's not like a regular bag of jerky. So you're getting 0.5 ounces for $1.25 is is the dollar store now, is the $1.25 store. But these are kind of cool as far as with prepping stuff. We're always looking for small packages of things, and I think these are. And they also sell a complete box with probably 12 or 24 of these in the box. But those are kind of cool. And those are at the same price if you compare the whole box, same price as the dollar store. So it's not a big deal right there. Got some clam chowder here. Got a bunch of different soups. And I noticed on some of these, like this Kreider canned chicken right here. I was looking online and I saw some places where this little can, which is 4 ounces, this little can right here, some places on Amazon, they're trying to charge $10 for one of these things. So really pay attention to where you're looking, because I was thinking, holy crap, if this is $10, I'm buying 100 of these damn things. But you look on, you look at like the Walmart brand, and it is the same price. I am going to open these up and see what whoa. I'm going to open these up later on and see what, I guess I'll just talk about the Kreider one now. I'm going to open these up and see what the difference is as far as taste, texture, and all that later on. But the Walmart brand is $1.25. I've seen those other places for around $2 as well. So the price, give or take here and there is fairly pretty similar. This crab meat right here, I saw the same thing on Amazon where I saw this for like $10. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. And then you look at first, it's imitation crab meat, so it's not even the real stuff. But you can find this for a couple bucks. So you do save a little bit money on that, but it's not the outrageous savings you would think. I got this little hot pepper jelly just because I want to try it, not necessarily for prepper food or anything like that, but this looks pretty cool. I do like the size of this, though, as far as prepping is concerned. Maybe even like double this size would be pretty cool, because if you're in some sort of SHTF situation, disaster, something that's going to last a few weeks, it'd be a lot better to have something this size than something this size, because if you open this up, you basically have to use it that day or the next day before it starts to go bad. Whereas this, you can just open this up and, you can go through it. Now, if you're like Brandon, maybe you've got a whole family and it's not going to be that hard at all, especially if you maybe make some bread in the sun oven or something. It's not going to be that hard to go through a whole jar of jelly this size anyway in 1 day, 2 days, something like that. So, but I do like this size. All the smaller things I do like. These right here I didn't necessarily get for prepping. I just kind of wanted to get some because I haven't had those since I was probably a teenager, so I wanted to try some. But those would be good for like homemade MREs, which I might make one out of some of this stuff. You've got the beef jerky, you've got these things right here, you've got these protein drinks, a lot of different things. You've got Vienna sausages, which I don't think would be. This is a little bit too big to put in an MRE thing, but they've got smaller ones of these. These Vienna sausages were. I think a little bit cheaper as well. I've got I've got all the prices charted out on this. One thing I did notice though on the expiration dates, I think that's what I was trying to talk about with this meat. The reason I went and bought that Walmart brand that I just threw across the room is because I wanted to see what the expiration dates. This expiration date is September of 2025, I believe. 2026. So this is the one I bought at the dollar store, and it's got an expiration date of 2026. These protein drinks have about a 6-month expiration date on them. The ones that we usually buy, and I can't remember what they're called now, Lisa usually buys them, they're about 9 months to 12 months. So this is a little bit less than the expiration date you would get from a grocery store. Now, you really do have to pay attention to expiration dates, and we have to, even up here at Walmart where I live, because there can be crap sitting on the shelf forever, and you buy something, and if you're not paying attention to what the expiration date is, you can buy something that is maybe already expired or it's got like 2 days left on it. And granted, all the expiration dates on canned food, it's pretty arbitrary, and it just really matters what's in it. Tomato products, I don't really test it that much past the expiration dates, but a lot of these can, they can last indefinitely. It's the texture and all that's going to go bad. So Canned fruit, got some of this as well. These little tuna things right here, Brunswick tuna pack things, were a couple bucks at regular stores. They've also got some at Walmart that have this fork and spoon in them and things like that. So these it'd be pretty cool for an MRE type thing setting up. Although because of the beef jerky, because of the expiration, like beef jerky is not going to last longer than a year or so. You're not putting an MRE together for something that's going to last 5 years down the line. Just not going to happen. Especially if you put one of these in it, you got 6 months on it. So, but these looked pretty cool. This little Spam thing I got just because it was a Spam single. I think these are about the same price at Walmart or on Walmart. You can't buy them at my store anyway. But the single is about $1.25. I think rather get the can. I think the can is like $5 or something. But again, a small packet, something that is just it's easy to store. You can put yourself together an MRE with a lot of this stuff, and it's not going to take up a lot of room. All this stuff that I got here, a couple Chef Boyardees, cream of rice. I got another soup clam chowder right there. Veggies, all of this stuff right here. Black olives for Lisa. I got those because she likes the sliced black olives for pizza and stuff like that. But all of this right here is probably 3-4 days worth of food. And this is minus these right here. This is $20 worth of stuff. I got a few other things too, but this is $20 worth of stuff. So it's a few days worth of food if you had to. So my whole thing with this is the dollar store it is viable. If you're going to the dollar store, I don't know that, like I said, I don't know that I would go to do my grocery shopping. Do my grocery shopping. Had to cough, but it is viable. The other Brandon's here. What's going on, Brandon? I haven't seen you in a while. Brandon said, I like rating the dollar store's freezer meals when they're on coupon deals to feed the freeze dryer. That's a very good point. Only drawback is that they're a little bit heavier on salt content than we like. I didn't even look at the freezer section while I was there, but they do have a lot of stuff in there. But I can't remember. I think it was Plan B that was talking about in the group as well about if you can get some of this stuff, if you do get the coupon deals and it is a really good deal, if you do have a freeze dryer, you can get this stuff and freeze dry them. I may get some soups and just try that, 3-4 cans of soup. Say you got these Chef Boyardees. I have never, green screen's messing up the Chef Boyardees. I've never tried Chef Boyardee stuff in the freeze dryer. I've tried some Campbell soups, the hearty, the hamburger stew and the beef stew and things like that. Those are pretty good. But if you can get a really good deal on those, why not stock up and get those? And if you do have a freeze dryer, put those through the freeze dryer. Again, the expiration dates on these. Maybe let me see what this one is. This one is Best Buy August of 25. So this is still a year and a half. So that's not, something that you're not buying something that's only 6 months out from the expiration date is what I'm saying with most of this stuff. Plus on the fact of this is more of a Best Buy date, and let me see if it actually says expiration date. No, it's a Best Buy date. So Best Buy date just means when they guarantee the freshness and the quality of it. Doesn't mean that it goes bad the day after this date. Expiration dates, that's why they don't put expiration dates on here, because the canned food process, as long as the can doesn't have any dents, dings, it's not bulging, anything like that, the can's probably fine. And you could open this up 3 years from now, and it's probably going to be fine. The only caveat to that is that Brandon said here, have some suggestions for freeze-dried boyer. Yeah, I might do that, Brandon. The only caveat to that is we store a lot of diced tomatoes, tomato sauce. I like to make my own spaghetti sauce and the chili and things like that. So I don't play with the highly acidic products too much as far as past their expiration dates, because those highly acidic things can eat away at the metal. It'll make it taste weird at the very least, but it could end up going bad. So It's more of a safe than sorry. Maybe there's other people that do out there. I just choose not to go that route. So, but at any rate, yeah. Football Factory. Let me see what you have to say here out in the UK. What's going on from the UK or from the US to the UK? I'm here in the UK. I like to buy the big soups. It's like a meal in one. Go with my soup stew a few years ago. A few years shelf life on them. Yeah. I do too. I've changed my tune about canned food in my storage. I've gone back and forth, and I still don't have a lot in there, but it might change in a little bit. But Lisa and I used to store quite a bit. And then we went away from it because we just never used it as far as the veggies and things like that. I prefer the taste of frozen vegetables. But the canned vegetables, I think we might try to incorporate that more in our diet just because how long they last. The nutrition, from what I've been reading, it actually does. It's actually in some aspects it could be a little bit more nutritious than because of the processes than the frozen vegetables. Not as, I don't think, as nutritious as the fresh stuff, but so I think we're going to try to incorporate that more into our food storage. The other thing on top of that is because of the harvest right that we have, if any of these get to the point where they're at their best by date or maybe a year beyond, I can open those up. I can freeze dry them and try those out. I've done that with green beans, a few different vegetables. Corn is fantastic. Cream corn is fantastic as well. There's absolutely no difference as far as cream corn from the freeze dried to the regular stuff. So, Brandon said here, something else to watch out for. I purchased some imported products from South America and Europe. Some of these packages have born on dates and not expiration dates. That's interesting. Yeah. These things right here, these Brunswick things, are actually made in Thailand. I'll have to look. Let me see. This has got a expiration or best by date 11 of 24. So basically a year from now, these are good for. So at any rate, what I want to do is I want to show you all the math involved in here. So this is what I put together. The $20 of food that I have here on the table. This is what it all works out to be. So the protein shakes are anywhere from $2 to $5. These MRE shakes were, I think I saw them at like $4 from a couple of different outlets, but around $4. But you can also get, I know Walmart sells some, I think it's like Ensure or something like that. Some cheaper ones that are like $1.50, $2, somewhere in that range. So between $2 and $5. On my total, I just split the difference on any that are between $2 and $5 or below. There's $1 to $1.50, $1 to $1.50. I just split it in half. So $2.50 on these is what I figure. Then the Spam singles, $1 to $1.50. I think Walmart, they were like $1 something. Online, Amazon, I think you can get a pack of them, a 12 pack or something like that. So it works out to be $1.50. So I figure $1.25, same as the $1.25 store, the dollar store. The Chef Boyardee products, same thing at Walmart, $1.24. And I've got Chef Boyardee beefaroni down at the bottom as well, $1.24. So the same thing. Chicken of the sea crab meat. I looked on Amazon, and this is the one I was talking about, where I saw it for like $10. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. But after doing some more research and trying to get some average numbers, it's about $2.50. So you actually do save a little bit of money on that crab meat. Although it is imitation crab meat, it's not real crab meat. And if you buy the can, it's cheaper than this because it's the way it's packaged. The Campbell's clam chowder, $1.50. The beef jerkies, I looked, you can get the packs online, and they're about $1.44 a piece. If you buy the whole kit, is what it averages out to be, about $1.44. So you're saving 20 or so cents right there. The Brunswick tuna salad packs that I got, those are $2.25. And I even looked at Walmart today at some of the other ones. They've got some of the kits that have the spoons and spoons and forks in them in there, and little mayonnaise packets and stuff like that. I think those are about $3, but these ones are online looking at things at about $2.25. And then the Kreider white chicken, like I said, I saw some pretty expensive numbers on this, but at Walmart, like this can I just showed you right here, you can get them between $2 and $5. So I figured $2.50 for the canned chicken. I think it was, I can't remember how many ounces it was. I think it was like 4 ounces. The fruit cocktail, the Walmart brand is about $2, so you save a little bit of money there. The Vienna bites, the Vienna sausages, they're about $2.66, so you save a little bit of money there. The Campbell's chicken and rice, about the same price as you would get at the dollar store. And then the classic chicken and ham is about the same as you would get from the dollar store. And then the jelly, there wasn't this brand of jelly, but the Walmart brand of jelly was about $2.20. So you're saving $1 right there. So all in all, the numbers, once I put all these together, the numbers that I got is in total, you spend $20 at the dollar store. If I were to buy these separately, say at Walmart or wherever, you're looking at $30 is what it would have cost me. So that's a 50% savings, which is pretty damn good when you think about it. Now, it's because of, like on this list, there are a lot of these things that are basically the same price as the Walmart brands. But there are a few things that you can get at the dollar store, like the other Brandon was talking about. If you find coupons or you get things on sale, you can save quite a bit of money. A lot of the stuff is going to be the same price. It's going to be packaged differently, smaller, things like that. But the one thing, I suppose the one thing I came away from this with is you're probably not going to spend more money than you need to by shopping at the dollar store. You can get some name brand products. You'll have to test out some of the off brands and see what you think of those, but you're not going to hurt yourself by shopping at the dollar store. And this was sort of a preconceived notion I had, is like, I'm going to get this cheap crap that's half the size of a Walmart can, but it's the same price as the Walmart can. That's not really the case. Which was my preconceived notion. And Lisa, and I'm sure a lot of people out there too, Plan B said, those Brunswick are edible, but just barely. Yeah, I'm going to have to try those and see what I think, Plan B. The other brand has said here, we also save a bunch of money at the dollar stores with laundry detergent and miscellaneous other than food items. Yeah, I was going to mention that as well. There are things there that, especially when you think about, let me pull up this comment first and then I'll continue on my thought there. Football Factory in the UK. It's very good in the UK. If I went to buy the likes of that list, it'd be like 50 pounds or more. Yeah, and 50 pounds, I don't know what 50 pounds is in American. I believe we're pretty close, though, in dollars to pounds. So, yeah, it's definitely something that's viable. At any rate, let me go back to what I was talking about with the other brand and talking about we also save a bunch of money at the dollar store with laundry detergent and other miscellaneous items other than food. There's a lot of stuff you can get there, especially if you're going to get supplies that you're putting away for a disaster, an SHTF thing, soap, shampoos, things that are going to last a long time on your shelf, bleach and cleaning products, things like that. If you're just going to put it away for that emergency type use and you're not going to use it on a daily basis, you may as well get the dollar store stuff. You can probably save quite a bit of money rather than going with those name brand things. They also have utensils and paper plates and the aluminum tins that I always get during the Christmas and holiday seasons because when the kids take food home, I don't want them taking our Tupperware. They also have Tupperware there too. If you're going to give away Tupperware, give away some dollar store Tupperware. But they have the aluminum tins, the chafing dish pans and things like that, that I can just pile up food and give it to them, put some saran wrap on top of it. So there are things there that can save you money. It doesn't have to be those name brand type things. Now, there are some things like cling wrap and all that if I use on a daily basis. Hag Homestead, hey, how you doing? All those things that I use on a daily basis, I am going to get the better stuff. I am going to get the cling wrap that actually does cling to the bowl rather than the plastic wrap that you take it off and you got to basically put a rubber band around it just to get it to stick to the bowl. there are some things if you use on a daily basis, you're going to want what you want. But there are a lot of things there that you can use for prepping purposes. Some of the medical stuff, a lot of that you're going to get you're not really going to get a very good deal on it necessarily because you're getting a smaller amount. Some of the gauze or some of the tape and things like that are going to be a foot of tape or 2 feet of tape rather than 5 feet of tape. So you're not really getting a deal on that. Plus, the quality of the products, you just can't tell. Brandon said here, I've been stealing soap and shampoo from hotels for years. You know what? That's a damn good idea because they're small. They're, tiny packaged. You can put some in different bags and different kits and all that. So yeah, it's really not a bad idea at all. Jammer said here, those are good deals, utensils, containers, kitchen supplies, etc. Yeah. The one other thing with that too, Lisa has bought some spatulas from the dollar store just to sort of test them out. And they end up in the trash. But if it is something you plan on using, say you were going camping, right? And you've got one of these cheap ass dollar store spatulas and you're trying to use it for camping and the sucker breaks. And camping is a low stress environment, right? If you're in an SHTF situation, it's going to be higher stress, and that sucker breaks while you're camping, then you got to figure out how you're going to do that. Then you got to pull out your MacGyver skills and figure all these other things out. So if some of the things at the dollar store, test them out, right? Make sure they're going to be what you think they're going to be. Brandon said only good parchment paper. Yeah, that's another one of those things too, especially if it's going to be something that's going to get heated up. Baghdad Bill, what's going on? He says, I found the Sterno type fuel cans at the dollar store, perfect for folding camping stoves. I didn't even think about that. That's a very good idea. I did a video a little while ago about how much heat each of the different Sterno cans will put off. They've got the 7-pen, which is the cheapest stuff I could find on Amazon, which was the lowest heat, but still pretty good. You've got the Sterno brand, which puts off a little bit more heat. So I'd love to know, I may have to get some of that next time. I'd love to know what those put off. Now, the reason I did that video is because I've got the stove back here, I can't remember what the hell it's called. The Instafire, I think is what it's called, the Instafire stove, and they've got their extra hot heat cans. And I wanted to see if they were actually extra hot, and they actually are. They're more expensive, but they are actually extra hot, is what I was trying to say there. But I think I might do that. See if I can find some Sterno cans and see how those stack up to the other ones that I've got here. Very good comment. Thanks, Baghdad Bill. Brandon said little shampoos, good bartering items. Yeah. I'll tell you what, it's like that interview I did with Selco where he was talking about the smaller things are the best bartering items, the batteries, the flashlights, or the batteries, the lighters, things like that. Those little shampoos and things could be that bartering item. Now that depends on the availability of water and how clean your neighbors want to be, depending on who's bartering for it. I know in our house, if we ran out of shampoo, I would be looking for some, not necessarily for myself, but I guarantee you Lisa would want some. So that could be the situation you're looking at right there. But a lot of things that you can get at the dollar store that are absolutely, I used to just kind of put it off and say, it's gimmicky. I think that's what I thought. I see these videos and it's like, it's gimmicky. Now I'm doing a video and I'm going to do another video on this food too in the future. But it's really not. It's not something I would necessarily go out of my way to go there. But if Lisa's ever going, I won't dislike going to the dollar store as much as I used to. I'll put it that way, because it's like pulling teeth to get me to go to the. I usually just sit and wait in the car, but now I'll actually go in and check some things out. So very cool. One other thing as well, some of you may already know this too, but this video is, and it doesn't tell me where you're all commenting from, but this video, I started a new channel on YouTube called The Bug Out Location. And that channel I started this for a couple reasons. I want to make that channel vanilla. I want to make that channel just prepping topics, mainly about food and cooking the food. So food, electricity, cooking options, things like that in a disaster or SHTF situation. So that channel is called The Bug Out Location. And it's going to be just the basic prepping stuff. Here at Survivalist Prepper, this channel, I'm just kind of like the last video I had. I'm in Indiana. The last video I had was on Alex Jones. Alex Jones videos will not go on the Bug Out Location YouTube channel. They will stay at Survivalist Prepper. Any of those controversial topics that I like to talk about, that y'all like to hear about, those will stay over on the Survivalist Prepper channel. But on the YouTube, on the Bug Out Location YouTube channel, I'm going to get those tutorials about different food storage, like the sterno cans that were just brought up. If I do one of those, that'll be over at the Bug Out Location YouTube channel. So if you can, make sure you go over there and subscribe. The live streams I'm going to be putting on, like this one is going to both channels right now, so it'll be split back and forth. But if I've done a video, you know I've done it, but you can't find it on Survivalist Prepper, it's probably at the Bug Out Location. Same thing for the Bug Out Location. If you know I've done a video, it's probably over at Survivalist Prepper. Also with the Bug Out Location, I'm going to be that's where I'm going to have the members only videos for members of the group, which is, if you want to join that group, it helps support the show. It's members.survivalistprepper.net. That is a fantastic group. A lot of really cool people in there. People just starting out, people that have been doing this for longer than me, and people that are just super helpful when it comes to preparedness. Whether you're talking about, I'm sure there are people in there that could give you some tips on building a gasifier. I know there's people in there that will have tips on communication, Alpha Tango, and all those people have a really... trying to think, Mark also really good with the communication stuff. Just a lot of knowledge in there. Brandon with the gardening and the harvest right and all sorts of stuff. Brandon's got quite a range of different topics that he's pretty got nailed down as far as giving advice anyway. But just a really cool group. But that's where I'm going to be doing, if I do members only videos, if I do anything that is unlisted, that's where those are going to be, as well as videos that I do for the courses at the Bug Out Location, which is the bugoutlocation.net, which if you join the Bug Out Location, you can actually get into the group that I was just talking about for free, which the Bug Out Location has all sorts of prepping resources. I'm adding stuff to that. I've got expert interviews I've done in the past with people like Chris Weatherman and Dr. William Forgy on the Prepper's Medical Handbook. All that stuff is there. A lot of other resources as well that you can download. I've got hundreds that I need to add to the Bug Out Location, hundreds more. So, but it's a really cool, if you're trying to get better at preparedness, get along in your preparedness journey. It's a great resource. The group is a great resource, and it also helps me do what I'm doing, helps promote, helps support the show, and helps me continue to do what I'm doing week in and week out, and helps me continue to do all of these different things I'm doing. So the other brand said, got to jump off. Goodbye, everyone. I think I am probably going to do the same thing there, Brandon. So perfect timing. I am done with, I don't have much else to talk about at this point. So, but just like I said, watch the inflation, figure out ways, coupons and things like that you can, and like I said, even the dollar store, things that you can do to sort of bulk up your food storage, save a little bit money, and all that stuff. Oh, one thing before we go, I wanted to look at this poll real quick. And 33 on this, how much money do you keep at home? 33% said less than 100. 33% said over 100, and 33% said over 1,000. So that was pretty interesting. And the reason I wanted to talk about that today, and I forgot to earlier, is because the value of money is just like with food. The value, if you've got a whole lot of money saved, like if grandma had $1,000 in her safe, cash, and she saved it from 35 years ago, like that Home Alone thing I was talking about, that $1,000 from when she saved 30 years ago would be worth a third of what it is these days. So it's just one of those things where I don't know how much how much cash is, and it really is dependent on your situation, but I just don't know how much cash is advisable. If you got a whole lot of money saved, I think there should be a purpose for preparedness, why you have it for preparedness and not like an investment thing. I think if you're going to have that much money, you may as well put it in silver and gold and all that. So at any rate, I am, the poll's on YouTube, Plan B, sorry. At any rate, I am going to get out of here now. I do that every damn week. I say I'm going to get out of here and then I start talking about something. So, Denise, I didn't even see you in there. How you doing tonight? But at any rate, I am going to get out of here. I appreciate y'all joining in tonight. I am going to try next Wednesday at 4 o'clock Mountain Time, 6 o'clock Eastern Time to be here next Saturday. If you guys have any ideas, anything you want to talk about, let me know. If you're in the group, let me know in the group. If not, send me an email to dale@survivalsprepper.net and we can figure that out. But appreciated everyone that joined in tonight, and we will talk to y'all later. Take care and prepare.